Welcome, welcome, welcome. So this is the first of our Lunch and Learn series. I'm going to turn my phone off here. Hold on. Okay, so this is the first of our Lunch and Learn series. We are talking about NuVoice today. And so this applies to students who are using LAMP and Unity. My name is Reiko Anderson, and these are the places you can find me. So my Instagram is at Reiko AACSLP. My YouTube is at NVSDSLP. I do have a blog, and because this is a video format, you can't click this link, but what I've done is I've made this QR code for you. If you want to take a look at our blog, we have an events page there. We have iPad troubleshooting. So those are some really handy things to know about. If any of you have any questions for me, just like feel free to interrupt me, okay?
Sure, thank you.
Okay, so like I said, I'm on Instagram here, Reiko AACSLP, as well as NVSD SLP YouTube. I have these highlights on Instagram, and then I have these playlists on YouTube. So if you're looking for just sort of more information on Touch Chat, for example, you can just go to Touch Chat. If you're looking for our Lunch and Learns, then you can just go to this playlist here. Anything that's a longer format obviously will be on YouTube. I left this up here pointing to OneDrive because I had a student this week broke her talker, but it hadn't been backed up properly. So this is just a reminder to back up the talker. I strongly feel it's kind of like insurance, right? Okay, so my dad's in tourism, and I strongly do feel like there's a correlation. So the people who get insurance while on vacation don't get in accidents. The people who don't buy insurance while on vacation do get in accidents. I feel the same about backing up, right? I feel like if you back up, nothing will happen. If you don't back up, something will happen. So make sure you back up
3 times in 2 weeks.
Exactly. So you know, I think it's kind of like insurance, right? Make sure you're backing up to make sure that nothing happens to the iPad, but also to make sure that if something does happen, you have a backup. So anyways, that's my public service announcement for today. We do have these other two Lunch and Learns happening with similar software over the next month. We have one for Grid 3, which is for students using Grid 3 and Grid for iPad. And then we have the one for Chat Editor, which is used for students who are using Touch Chat. So come to all of them, come to one, no big deal. If your student is using LAMP and Unity, there's no need for you to come to these, but if you have other people in your school that are using these, then great. Okay, so the things that we're going to talk about today: what is NuVoice, how to download NuVoice, how to set up NuVoice, and how to make visual and academic supports. Okay, so what is NuVoice? NuVoice is essentially what we call emulation software. So it kind of mimics what's going on the talker. So this is what LAMP Words for Life looks like. Now, the layout looks a little bit different when it's all on a screen like this, but when you actually get the individual symbols, you won't even notice it. It won't be that big of a deal, but this is really, it's free. That's the big thing. This is a nice way to sort of supplement what's going on with the talker, with the modeling and everything else. The number one thing to do is the modeling. This is kind of like supplementary stuff that we're going to be talking about today. So why might you need it? If you're going to use the symbols outside of the system, and also if you just want like a free practice system, it's good for that as well. Especially for like LAMP and Unity, where sometimes I think like it just takes a minute for somebody to wrap their head around it. It can be just a nice trial while the student's not there, because obviously the student's talker is with them. And so we can't just like take that one home kind of thing. So then how do you get NuVoice? Okay, so this is just for district employees. The district has something called the Software Center. I think it's pretty common across different work sites to have computers locked down, so you can't just like find software on the internet and like download it. Our district has kind of stepped up the security a little bit as well. So you can't just, they do a privacy assessment for every single piece of software that's approved to be on our laptops. But then in addition to that, we have to get somebody to come install them. Now, everything in the software center has been pre-approved. So if you want to download it, you can just download it. You don't need to ask anybody. So what you need to do now in the bottom left corner of your monitor, of your screen, you should see this little magnifying glass. The easiest thing to do is click that and search for Software Center. And then you're going to see this window pop up. And then you go into here and search for NuVoice. It's spelled N-U, no space, and then voice. As you can see, there's like all these other pieces of software that you can do. And then you just kind of follow the instructions and you just download it and install it. Now, I've tested this process with a few people and there's a little bit of troubleshooting that needed to happen. You will need to be on your district computer. I put laptop here. I realize it could be any computer. So if you have a bank of computers in like a learning support room, you could totally do it on one of those computers as well. You do need to be on district Wi-Fi. So if you're at home, this will not work. Now, also, sometimes if your laptop is traveling to different sites or going home or those kinds of things, it gets confused. So if this is not working for you, you can just restart your computer. But yeah, when in doubt, restart the app, right? So when you know that thing when you like double click and then you like turn everything off, do that thing, restart the computer. Well, if you're downloading from the software center, restart the computer. Sometimes that will also fix things. And then if you've done these things and it's still not working, contact IT and also CC me on that. I kind of want to know if people are successful in this process or not. These steps seem to have helped like everyone that has had issues so far. So fingers crossed. Now, for anybody external to the district, it's still free. You just go to this website. It's the company that owns LAMP and Unity and that kind of stuff. They're called PRC, Prentke Romich Company. Excuse me. And just go to this website, just use the QR code and then download the software. And that should be everything you need. Just follow the directions. And then from there, you need to know how to set up NuVoice. So I'm just going to switch screens for a second. Okay, so this is what NuVoice is going to look like when you first download it. What you want to do, oh, actually, I'm going to go back for a second. Okay, so the first thing you need to do actually is figure out which vocabulary you have. If you are on an iPad, you probably have LAMP. WFL stands for Words for Life. The full name of the app is actually LAMP Words for Life. If you look at the want symbol, it'll look like this stripy guy. He's a wanted man. Now, you also need to know if you are on full or one hit. Now, a one hit iPad, when I hit want, we will see want pop up there. On a two hit iPad, you probably already know whether you're one hit or two hit just naturally. Okay, on a two hit iPad, I'm going to need to hit want and then hit that want button there. So a sequence, LAMP full, the words are usually 2 or 3 button hits. Now, if you have an accent, it is not an iPad. I do not have one here, but it's kind of like a little tiny touchscreen computer, essentially. So you probably have Unity, and when you look at the want, it looks like this. The 84 means how many buttons are on a page. I know that on my caseload right now, I only have students using 84, no other numbers, but you can figure it out by just like counting how many buttons there are per page. And then you either have one hit or sequence, like I showed you. There's also a transitional. I don't put people on transitional. I usually put them either on one hit or full, but to each their own. Now, LAMP VI is another possibility. And in that situation, you have somebody with a visual impairment using it. So their symbols look more like this. And again, one hit or sequenced. So now that we've established which vocabulary we're on, let's pretend we're on LAMP Words for Life full. Okay, so now I'm going to open this up. This is what NuVoice looks like when you open it up. Okay, so we're going to hit choose. There's also some fun practice games over here if access is an issue, but we're going to go to choose. We're going to go to, like I said, LAMP, right? And it's LAMP Words for Life standard, not visual impairment. And we're going to go to the full right here. And then so it says, select the user area to load LAMP Words for Life 84 full into. So this to me means, oh, actually it's right here. This to me actually also kind of means like, sometimes there's space for 6 like active profiles on here. And essentially it's asking me to pick one of these to delete so that it can create a new profile. For most of you, you're only going to be working with one student using this. So like, don't even worry about it. Just click one of these buttons. No big deal. If you're somebody like me who's supporting multiple students, it might be something to think about. But yeah, we're just going to put it there. Do you want to do this? Yes. And then it says change user area name, then select OK. I usually put it as my students' initials, but for today, I'm just going to call it delete. So I know that in the future I can delete it. But for you, put your students' initials and maybe a date. Okay, so now we are in LAMP. You are going to need to probably reference this video, or actually, you know what? It's actually fairly self-explanatory, so hopefully you can figure out that part. Now, if you accidentally get yourself into something weird and you're like, this is not where I'm supposed to be, there is a way to replace the user area or select a new user area. I have the written instructions here. It's just from Google AI. So you can actually just go into Google and say, NuVoice, how to select a different user area. And it usually pops up with a video or something like that. But if you get stuck, email me. I can try to help you out. Okay, so this is why you're here. How do I make visual and academic supports for students using the LAMP and Unity symbols? So there's a function in here called Write with Icons. I'm going to show that to you live right now. So we're going to go into vocabulary here. And then it says vocabulary display options. And then this here, Write with Icons. Now, I don't know if you know this, if you start with a small image and you try to like make it bigger and then print it, you'll often end up with something really blurry. It's better to, I think it's better to have bigger images and then like adjust the size from there. So here it gives you the option to select an icon size. If you know that you want everything to be 1 inch, feel free to just like type that in there. Say 1, oh, well, that's not an option. It's either 0.88 or 1.13 are my options. So you can do that if you want to. I usually just like leave it at 2.25. So we're going to hit OK. There's a whole bunch of instructions here. I don't read them. What you can do here is you can just type the words you need. So say need, I'm going to hit space, and it's just going to give me the icon sequence like that. So it's really easy. You just kind of like develop a list of words and you just kind of go from there. Awesome goes like that, right? And it shows, it's nice because it gives you the actual sequence as well. Oh, a couple other things I should show you about this. Sometimes if you have a word like I, you're going to hit I space and you're going to see this pop up. So this I here, this is where you kind of need to know the vocabulary a little bit to provide a bit of support. So I can see here that this I is the pronoun I, right? Because we hit I twice. This one is the letter I in spelling. That's not the I want in this situation. I want I like the pronoun. So I'm going to click that and I'm going to click OK. Now, one of the other cool things about this is as your student kind of grows in their language, there's kind of like shortcuts you can take. I don't teach these right off the bat. I kind of wait until we're already combining words, and then you can kind of show them some really quick shortcuts. So like I could say I don't and treat that as two separate words, and we should early on. But if we're making sentences and we need the AAC system to go faster, like if I wanted to say I don't want, I think I can do that in 2 button hits instead of 2, 2, 2, or 6 button hits, right? So watch this. So I hit I space, again, going to select the pronoun, don't space, and then it gives me the shortcut for I don't, which is 3 button hits. And then want, okay, I was wrong. I don't want is just 3 button hits. So again, this is like a later language thing, but this ability to do all of these shortcuts and stuff like that is all in here, which is pretty cool. So now that you have, right with icons, you have a list of words there. How do you deal with that? Okay, so one of the easiest ways to deal with it, I think, is to use the snipping tool. It's kind of like taking a screenshot of just part of the screen. So what I'm going to do is do the same thing as before, and you can search for the snipping tool and then open it, and then we're going to copy and paste it somewhere. So I have we're going to open this up. We're going to open up the snipping tool. I already have it open. And then we're going to open up, like, let's say Word. Okay, so let's do it this way. We're going to take the snipping tool. I'm going to use, you want to put this on rectangular snip, and then you want to hit new. And then I can either take a snip of just this, or I can take a snip of both of them. And then I just copy that and then paste it over here into Word. And then do whatever I want with it. So it's pretty easy, right? I do like PowerPoint a little bit better for creating resources like this. This is a book about squish. I have a student who likes squishy things, and to squish things, actually. It's a verb. And so this is the sequence for squish. And so I just find it easier, like if I want to put it right here, and I want the word to go here, and I want the picture to go here, I find that Word doesn't cooperate very well with that kind of thing. So I find it just easier to use PowerPoint. So I do things that way. Also, I also want to point out that this is not a literacy activity. If you have a written word here with icons, what research has told us is that this does not support literacy. That is another topic for another day. So let's talk about that in the future. But other ways that you can use this, say you're trying to learn some location names, we can put the symbol for classroom on the classroom door. A lot of my kids are shorter and the signs are way up here. So make sure that it's sort of eye level for the student, even if it's not like aesthetically pleasing. You could also be working on core vocabulary like go, and you can have like a little door hanger hanging off like a doorknob. You might be working on finished, and you might have a finished bin on your desk. You can also, have like a sorting game, and maybe you have a big bin and then a small bin, and you just put the symbol for big on a bin like this. So there's lots of ways you can use it there. You can also use them in visual schedules. So say we're going to say first we're going to go to the classroom, and then we're going to go outside. These are the actual symbols from inside LAMP, especially for these like slightly more abstract concepts. I also use Word for some things, like if I'm kind of doing like a table kind of situation. So I had a student that was learning kind of, their language was a bit higher. So they were learning some of those like abstract sight words, right? Like all, are, can. So the way that the team used these is that they would show the written word and cover the icons. And then if the student and then it was the student's job when they were shown all, just the written word, to find all on their talker. And if they could not find it, then they were shown the icons, right? That's how you work on literacy. And so these are flashcards. I also made a cheat sheet for staff. So these are some prepositions that we were working on: up, down, in, out, and these are the sequences for those. You can also make a little table-y kind of thing for curricular sort of stuff. So the curricular thing that I was thinking about telling you about was government. This is a thing that I actually did with one of my students. So we were talking about rights and responsibilities and government. So in this situation, we have like the head of the government, right? So we could type in head, see what comes up. And the head of a classroom, let's put classroom in there, right? The head of the classroom is the teacher. And then we have students, right? Oops, you have to spell things right. Students. Now, the head of the government sort of makes the rules. Well, rules not in there, that's okay. And there's things that we need to do before we get to do things we want to do. And some of those things might be jobs, or some of those, we might have like a classroom job. Okay, so I want to make like a cheat sheet out of these words for like a curricular activity. So I'm going to go File. This is the like tricky part. You can refer back to this video, but I'm going to go a little bit quickly, okay? We're going to File, Save and Open. It wants to save it in my Documents folder. I'm okay with that. Spell name for the file, government. And then we're going to hit OK. This isn't cooperating with me. I wonder if I do this. Okay, that worked. Usually it just opens up. But what I did there was I said I did copy all. So I use keyboard shortcuts. Sorry, I know that it's confusing when I do this on screen, but if I go Control A, that selects everything. And then and then I hit Control C, which copies everything. And then I go into this Word document and I hit Control V, which pastes everything. Now I don't know if you use this thing, this like backwards P looking thing will show you what's in between. So I can see here that it says head, and then there's some spaces in between head and these symbols, right? Okay, this is magic. Watch this. I'm going to hit Control A again for all. I'm going to select the whole page. I'm going to go Insert, Table, Convert Text to Table, and then Separate Text at. Now, there's spaces in between the words and the icons, right? So I'm going to say Separate Other at, and then I'm going to put a space here, okay? And then boom. Now, remember how there were 3 spaces? So that means I just have to like delete these 2 columns. And because the symbols are so big, they're kind of like running off the page. So I'm just going to put this sideways so we can see. But yeah, now we have kind of like a cheat sheet for people. From here, I can make things smaller if I want to. But I know, Morgan, I know you were making some cheat sheets. So this is also a possibility for you.
This makes me so excited because I'm trying to redo that cheat sheet right now because it's stressing me.
Yeah. And so I know that you had the vocabulary separated by communicative function. And so if you wanted to do a similar thing, and like this is just a word table now, right? So you can just kind of like, I'm going to right click and then color this in yellow, because we could totally do it that way. If you want all of these, if these are like too big, these are not fitting on one page and it's taking up too much space. If you want to, I don't know if you know this, if you want to make these all 1 inch, I can click this, go into Picture Tools, Format, and then I can just type in 1 here. And I think once I've done 1, I just selected the next one and say Control Y, and then I can kind of like just go through and quickly make things the same size. Does that make you happy too?
Oh, yes.
Yeah, so I love making cheat sheets like this, and I'll actually, for students who have started the basics and we're doing this sort of like curricular work, sometimes what I'll do is I'll just like print this, put it on the side, and you said, tell me about the head. Who is the head of the government? And if they said like teacher, I'd be like, I think you know what the head is, right? And what are laws? Laws are rules, right? So maybe we have rules as part of our list too. What's a responsibility, right? Responsibility, like I'm not going to expect my student who's just putting like 2 or 3 words together, I'm not going to expect them to know the word responsibility, but they're things we need to do, right? So if that student, I said, what's a responsibility? And they said need or job, then I'd be like, yeah, that's exactly what we're talking about, right? So yeah, that's called descriptive teaching, and we will talk more about that in the future. Presentation notes. Okay, I think that was everything I wanted to talk to you about. So I don't know if you have any additional questions or if that answered most of your questions. Maybe you need to play a little bit and see. One more thing, actually, I should show you. I just remembered. If you're done and you're like, now I want to go back to the other screen, you actually just need to go back into vocabulary and return to emulator. And that will take you back to like this screen. I think that's all you need to know. Do you have any questions? And hopefully this makes you happy. Like it's not, once you get used to it, like it's really not very hard to really quickly make up some resources. So
yeah, thank you so much, Rico. This is so exciting. I can't wait to get on
excellent.
my laptop and practice working on it.
Excellent, excellent. And if you're into it, there is a lot of Pro-D on the PRC website, and there's, for both of you, for both of your students, one of the things I've been thinking of is implementing vocabulary by family tree. So there's more information on that on the PRC website, which I had QR coded before. So take a look at that as well. And thanks for joining.